Now that we have successfully run a query, we need to take a closer look at what is returned to us by our query method. All of the return data comes back to us in the form of a PDO statement object.
Okay, continuing, we're going to get rid of this exception that we have here. Let's refresh. I've already fixed it in the file. So we'll refresh this. And we're back to our PDO statement object showing the query string. And we need to extract the results from this. We want to get all of our films out of our PDO statement object. And the first place I would say check is we go to our documentation and look up the PDO statement object. I'm just going to actually copy this and paste it and hit enter. And that will take us to the manual page for the PHP PDO statement. So here is our PDO statement class. This says it represents a prepared statement, and after it is executed, the associated result set. So that is what we're going to work with, is our associated result set. We're going to go on down and look at the methods, and the method that we're going to want here, let's say, we could do fetch all. That sounds good, fetch everything. This says it returns an array containing all of the result set rows. So it's going to return to us an array, and it doesn't have any required arguments. So let's go ahead and run that method on our results object, which is an instance of the PDO statement object. Head back over to our code. We're going to go down here and we're going to work with this results set. So here I'm going to continue to var dump and then die our result set, but we want to use the fetch all method. Before we dig into our fetch all method and see what it's going to return to us, we want to get rid of that error or the possibility of an exception being thrown by the query being incorrect. The way we're going to do that is with wrapping it in a try catch block. So we'll go ahead up here to line 4, come down a little bit, and wrap this in a try block. Try, no arguments. I'm going to tab this in. All right, close this guy out, and then open up catch. And we are still going to catch the exception class and pass it through to an object $e. Close it out, and in here, the same thing as before. We're just going to echo out our exception object, which is $e, and the method that we're going to use is going to be the same as before, get message. Okay, pass that through just to make sure that our try catch block is working. We'll again get rid of our correct statement and then refresh. And then now you'll see it says general error. That's saying it's our syntax error. That's exactly what we wanted to see, except we didn't want to see the rest of this. So we need to add a die statement to the end of this. Okay, so let's refresh again. There we go, much better. It just kills it and gives us the actual error itself. That's exactly what we're looking for. All right, let's go back in and fix our statement here. Select. All right, save that, double check that we're back to working, and we are. Great. Now, instead of just dumping the results, we're going to use that method that we looked at, which is fetch all. So object operator, fetch, capital A for fetch all, and then open and close parens with no arguments, and let's go see what it does. Hit refresh. All right, we have an array with 1,000 results. That's a lot, and it's really hard to look at right now. So let's put some pre-tags in here so we can see this a little bit better. Right before here, we'll go ahead and do echo, and then open up some tags for pre, close it out. I'm going to copy this line. I'm going to head down here and close out my pre-tag. Let's go back and see if that makes it look a little nicer. Much better. So looking at our result set here, again, we have 1,000 results, a lot of results. We definitely would want to paginate this in a production environment. But again, this is just for examples, not to be put into production. What do we have? We have each one of the films, it seems, and a lot of information that looks duplicate. Okay, so the only difference between them is the key. So you see we have a film ID, and that's equal to a string of 1, And then we have a numerically indexed 0, so the first index 0, with an ID of 1. Double checking title, key of title, that's the Academy dinosaur, all right? And then index 1, which is the second key, and that's the same, title as well. So it looks like we have something indexed by column name and something indexed by a numeric index. So let's go back to our PDO statement fetch all, look at the manual, and the first optional argument is the fetch style, which takes another argument called fetch argument. Okay, so let's look down here at fetch style. So it says that fetch style controls the contents of the returned array as documented in the fetch document. So let's go to fetch, see what that says. Okay, this is a result set, single row, fetch style parameters. Okay, so the default here, it says, is returns an array indexed by both column name and 0 indexed column number. That's what we have. That's our default. But the option to do just the associative array is our first argument here. Great. So that's PDO fetch ASOC or associative. So it returns an array indexed by column name as returned in your result set. Let's do that. So we want to set fetch style to PDO fetch ASOC. So I'm going to copy this here, and I'm going to pass that through in our code here in our fetch all statement. Right here is our first argument. I'm going to paste in that class constant, hit save. Let's go back to our code and refresh. Okay, still 1,000 results. That's right. That's exactly what we were looking for. And now all of them are indexed by column name. So there's no miscellaneous 0 through whatever for the keys. It's just an associative array for each film. That's awesome. So now we know that our result set is a set of films indexed by column name. So we should be able to build out our code a little bit. So next we'll do that by providing some links, work with these results, and create a little bit more of a website.